basically, mine's a little, people probably think this is a little Weird Al, um, because I grew up in a Christian home. I was going to church before I was even born. So in my mother's womb, I was in the church and had a great family, parents that loved me very much. But for me, growing up, I was kind of a loner. I was kind of a nerd, perhaps, growing up, because I didn't really have the proper equipment to be very social with a lot of people and all that. So I didn't fit into any of the different groups. I didn't fit into the groups such as the jocks or the nerds or any of those. I was just kind of pretty by myself, but had some friends. But as I grew up, it was at age 13 when I found rock music. Growing up, I would hear the country music from my dad's radio in a truck, or that, and also growing up, my mom would have Elvis records or listen to those. But really, me getting involved with the music scene, I started enjoying when I was 13. And then it was later, when I was 16, when I dove into more of an alternative. Back in the mid-'80s, it was called New Wave music, or even punk rock music. I dove into that because I just liked the style of it. I enjoyed the music style and all that, but which later it got me into with what people would say the wrong crowd, I guess. And to fit in, I just followed suit with them, and that's when we started getting into drugs and getting into marijuana, hash, marijuana that had laced with acid. So getting to see different, I know everybody has a different outlook. If they've had acid in drugs, they would see visions of different stuff, and for me it was more of visions of spiders or snakes and that stuff. Those are items I'm not real fond of. But with music, the downside of music, it kind of helped me go into a group that was into what people call Gothic now. Back in the 80s, it was more of one of the guys I hung out with. He said we're called radicals or punk. Some people back then, they would say punk, or would say like Billy Idol, or even what I listened to was The Cure. I liked the musical style of The Cure because I really focused on the instrumentation of each song and how the guitar is played, how the bass is played, how the keyboards are making their sounds, and I enjoy that, even though the music lyrics were kind of dark and negative, depressing lyrically. So